500 charter holders, but currently living about 300 members in Sri Lanka. And also we have about another 400 candidates studying for the CFA program. We, of course, firmly believe that the CFA Institute scholarships are integral part of our commitment to champion the highest standard of ethics, education, and professional excellence. I invite all of you to find out more about the CFA Institute scholarships. Uh, if you are interested in pursuing your career in finance or investment research area. So today's webinar will focus in mainly key areas of what I mentioned. So we are very pleased today. We have three eminent panel of speakers who would enlighten you on the CFA program. Our first speaker for the day would be Sachin Naik, who is our director in our India, attached to the CFA Institute. Then we have with him Thilan Sampath, who is CFA charter holder, who serves as the country head of USA based in Sri Lanka. And together we will have Sean Fernando, CEO of Alpha Business School, who is offering the study facilities for the CFA candidates in Sri Lanka, who will speak today about the study facilities offered by the Alpha Business School. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Sachin Naik to make his presentation about the CFA program. Over to you, Sachin.
Can you see my slides? I don't know, Thilan. Yes. All right.
We
Great.
can see, yes. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that warm introduction, Aruna, and thanks for inviting me for this session. A very good afternoon to all of you who have joined us today afternoon to understand hear more around CFA program, more so around careers related to CFA program or careers in investment management. And I'm happy to share this stage today along with Thilan and Shayan, who will share their insights as well as we go along. My name is Sachin Naik. I'm a director of CFA Institute. I am part of a function called Partnership and Client Solutions. And as part of my role, I work closely with societies, training providers in the region, both in India and Sri Lanka. I've been working with the society for a good 3 to 4 years. I've been part of the organization for close to 8 years now. And it's exciting to see the changes, the journeys that a lot of candidates and members over the period of time go through, and also the changes that we are bringing about. Now, you would have heard CFA program, so I'll take a bit of an effort in the next 10-15 minutes to give you a quick overview, but happy to take in more questions as we dive deeper into relevant areas, which for all of you, right? So, what is CFA Institute? I mean, if I had to just lay it out there, Aruna mentioned it's a community of over 200,000 members, and it's the largest association of investment professionals. Now, this community is spread out globally. So when we talk about the community, we talk about the global strength the community has to offer. Sri Lanka has produced a good number of members over the years, be it working in their local markets, or some have moved on to other bigger capital markets as well. But it's exciting to see someone like Thilan working in Sri Lanka for global accounts, global clients, global organizations. So the opportunity is immense. The roles are immense. So take that first step towards it. We have been in existence now for close to 75 years, and the certification itself is 60 years old now, starting with 1963. So if you look at a snapshot, that's how the community is spread across globally. We work very closely with a wide range of stakeholders, with university, institutions, regulators in all markets, including Sri Lanka. Now, the charter, and again, I'll go back to the opening statement from Aruna. It's the gold standard. It's one credential that is recognized irrespective of the country or the market that you will be working out from, right? So, if you are a CFA charter holder in Sri Lanka and if you travel for your job in other markets, the credential, the recognition exists in all markets globally. So it's a global certificate. It we also describe it's a global passport. So if you're moving around from say Sri Lanka to other markets, from job perspective, if there's a short-term engagement that you might have, say in Singapore, and you want to attend an event that the Singapore Society is hosting, as a charter holder, you will be welcome to some of those events as well. So it's a prestigious network. We work with a lot of universities globally, including in Sri Lanka. I think we would be engaging almost all the key top universities in Sri Lanka, be it in Colombo or in the outskirts as well. So, what is a CFA program essentially? If I had to just break it down in a simplistic format, it's a three-level professional learning program. The three levels now are divided across 10 topical areas that you can see on the bottom of your screen, right? Right from starting from, say, con statements or economics, macro, micro, or understanding of financial statement analysis, their balance sheets, your profit and loss accounts, and so on, to moving on to the the instruments itself, with equity, fixed income, derivatives, alternates, etc. That will be covered as well as part of the syllabus. And finally, portfolio and wealth management. Now, the core for all the three levels, the 10 topical area will be spread across all the three levels, but the weightage will vary. So when you are at level one, it is more about building your foundation or your understanding of the investment industry. When we move on to level two, it becomes a little bit of more of application and analysis. We'll be taught on how to analyze a single security, an equity, or a fixed income, or other alternates as well. And then how do you finally put all that together will be covered in level three. So it'll be given a case-based scenario, like if you have to say, suggest a portfolio for me, depending on my profile, how will you go about putting that? I'm just taking a simplistic example of me as an individual, but you'll be doing this for large corporates, uh, a big amount of money as well. So, how do you go about doing all that? It's covered across the three levels. And the core of all these three levels, you will find ethics at the center of it. Remember, investment management will be all about investing money in the capital market. It will be an individual or institutional investor's money. So you will be handling someone else's money. So for someone to part away, be it an individual or institution to part away their money and give it to you to advise or invest on their behalf, there has to be a significant amount of trust built in. And that's where we talk about ethics. Ethics is that's why important because there will be a lot of times that you'll come across gray areas when you go through your day job when you start in the industry. So that's where we try to bring some of those understanding as well through the program. You have to sequentially go through the program, clear each level. How do you clear each level? I'll cover that in a bit of time. But before that, I think I understand the dynamics of the market in Sri Lanka, and that's where I discussed with the team over here on what exactly might be helpful or relevant for a young student like most of you might be joining us today. Now, in Sri Lanka, I know that a lot of you are aware or familiar with accounting programs that have been prevalent in the market for many years. So, how does CFA differentiate comparison to any of the accounting programs that is out there? Now, both are related to finance, but the focus of accounting, any of the accounting program that is there in the market or globally as well, the career that it leads to is that of an accountant, auditor, financial manager, or somebody who will get into compliance related to financial regulation and so on and so forth. So it's very specific, very focused. But when we come to CFA program, there is a differentiation. So we are talking about capital markets, we're talking about investment industry, and within that, the roles of research analyst, portfolio manager, wealth manager, and so on and so forth. So even though both are connected to finance, there is a divergent stream that both will lead to an equally productive career. I'm not saying that CFA program will be better than the accounting programs. It is all depending on your area of interest, on where you want to build a career. But just keep in mind, while you look at the accounting programs, this is an alternate path that you can also choose to build a career through CFA program. So we do have some bit of analysis or comparison that is done on the website. So you can always go on to CFA Institute website and understand the differentiation a little bit more in detail as well. Now, when can you start off it? And I know that a lot of you start off immediately when you join a university. We might start off with one or some of the other professional learning programs as well. So over the years, CFA has been more relevant or more focused only towards professional, but we have been seeing more and more students across the world joining the program and have been able to successfully complete all the three levels. So when can you really join in? Take level one, you have to be at least 2 years away from your completing your undergrad program. So if it's a 3 year undergrad program that you have to get your undergrad title, you can attempt the level one in your second year, and level two can be attempted in your final year. So you can start off with CFA program while in college itself, right? So you do not need to finish your graduation and start with CFA program. You can start it off early. And a lot of corporates, and in fact, when they are hiring in from campuses, if they see this differentiation early on, there is a reasonable interest to hire you based on the effort and the knowledge that you have already gained through going through the program, at least the first two level. For level three, you have to be a graduate to start with level three. So do keep that in mind while you evaluate your options early on, right? Now, how do you go through the program? Well, it's a self-study program. Once you register for the program, all the materials are available to you through the online format, right? And you can study it at your own pace. But there are support provided. Sri Lanka Society has done a wonderful job through the Candidate Council, where a lot of support in terms of master classes and workshops are extended. And I'm happy to see that even Shayan, who's from Alpha Business School, will be joining us later today to speak about the support they offer to train candidates in the market in Colombo itself. So do understand from Shayan also what additional benefits they can bring in. I mean, a quick overview of various roles in the industry where the CFA charter is relevant. Weight in the equity, fixed income space, derivatives. So it's a wide variety of career option that opens up as well as career titles. Now we've explained or expanded a lot of this in detail on our website. So I really encourage that spend some time on our website on cfainstitute.org. Go on to CFA programs and explore the career section over there, where a lot of these roles are explained in a little bit more in detail for understanding of the students themselves. Now, coming to registration, so I should have probably talk about the next slide. Hold on, sorry. Okay, let me cover it in this slide itself. So any candidate who's coming in for CFA program, the level one exam window is available 4 times a year. It's in February, May, August, and November. Level two will be available 3 times a year, and level three is 2 times a year. So for anyone who wants to register for any particular exam window, we open up registrations a good 9 months in advance. So if you look at today and go onto our website, there will be two exam windows open. That's November 24 and Feb 25. May 25 should open up very shortly as well. Now within these windows, so if you are say opting for November 24 or February 25, there are two deadlines that we offer. One is called in the early bird registration deadline, and second is a standard deadline. Now, what's the impact of these two deadlines? The impact is directly on your fees. If you are registering early, if you're registering, say, about 7 months in advance of your exam window, you get to pay a lower fee. And that's what you can see on your screen. For February 25 level one, the early registration fee is $990. This is for level one candidate. Level two is not there in February. It's available in the other three windows. So February, if anyone is pursuing level three, that's the early registration fee for them. For November, the early registration window is already closed. It's only the standard registration window is open, and the fee for that is 1290. Now, right at bottom of your screen, you'll see a one-time enrollment fee also mentioned, which is USD $350. So if you're a first-time candidate registering for level one, you'll have to pay 350 plus 990. That's an early registration, or 350 plus 1290. So do keep that in mind, the registration fee when you come into the program. Moving on, this is the fee amount, and I'm happy to take in more questions around fee later on. As far as the timeline is concerned, November final registration will close on 7th August. So another, I think, just over a month left for that date to close. But what is more important and relevant if you are thinking about taking the program is the February timeline. Now, the February level 1 early registration window closes on 9th July. So when I mentioned in the previous slide the registration fee of $990, if you want to avail that fee and register for February exam, you need to do that by 9th July. Uh, the registration window will still be open for February, but at a higher fee. It will be open right up till 7th November. During that time, the May window will also open up. So if you're not ready for February, you can opt for May exam as well. Now we know that fees is whether it's $990 or $1,290 is not a small amount, right? It's a significant amount, especially in a market like ours and Sri Lanka also, which has gone through a lot of economic challenges over the last year or two. So if you want to avail some benefit, we do extend the scholarship program globally, including in Sri Lanka, and I think Tilan will probably touch upon that, where candidates have benefited from lower fee by applying and getting the excess scholarship. So this is a global scholarship program that we run. Currently, the application windows are closed, but later on in the calendar year, around August, September, do check back. So there are access scholarship and there are the role-based scholarship as well. I'll just touch upon access scholarship. So access scholarship is extended to anyone who is in need of the, or rather who is interested to go through the program but cannot afford the program fee. Now, of course, we can't award each and every candidate who applies for it. So we do have to go through certain criteria before deciding who gets access scholarship as well. If you are awarded, your one-time enrollment fee gets waived off and you are required to pay only $300 at the end of the day. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll probably come back to more questions around excess scholarship fees and any other related questions later on. But right now, I'll pass the mic back to Aruna to take on from the next section. Aruna, back to you.
Thank you, Sachin, giving that insights of the CFA program. So according to our agenda, the next speaker would be Thilan Sampath. He will speak about career options in investment research. With that, Thilan, can I invite you to take your presentation through?
Yes, thanks, Arun. Let me share my screen for the slides. You can. Is the slides visible, Arun? Are the slides visible?
Yeah, it's visible, yes.
Okay, yeah. So hi, everybody. Aruna, thank you for inviting me for this session, and thanks, Sachin, for contributing for CFA Sri Lanka's growth. So my objective today is so Sachin touched upon an introduction about CFA, about the institute, and what is the fee structure, how are the exams, etc. And then the speaker after me will help you through some of the stuff like study materials, how when you should start, etc., etc. But my session, the middle session here, what I wanted to cover is mainly that if you start to do CFA, what sort of career options you're going to have. Actually, Sachin touched upon this briefly, but I will elaborate more. So if you start doing CIMA, you are going to be in accounting, management accounting. If you're doing chartered accountancy, you are going to be in accountancy, finance, or auditing. If you are doing chartered, SIM, you are going to be in marketing. But if you are started to do CFA, I think most of you are, at early stage of your careers. So therefore, considering to do CFA as an additional qualification. So if you are going to do CFA, what sort of a career that you can expect is the question I'm going to answer today in next 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, so this is the question. What is the profession you are getting into when you do CFA? So you become an investment research professional or a financial analyst if you are doing CFA. Or if you want to become one of, investment research professional, CFA is the qualification. That's how both are linked. I don't know, Sachin already mentioned some of these. So if I'm elaborating more, this mainly, involves that you become part of the investment decision-making process. Investment industry or capital market industry is a large industry throughout the world. Even in Sri Lanka, we have a, sizable capital market, which involves a lot of, components. It has the equity market, it has the debt instrument market, and then it has the rating agencies. There are a lot of building blocks in capital market or investment industry. So you are stepping into this investment industry when you do a qualification like CFA. So your job role will be, you will either make investment decisions or you will be part of the investment decision making process. So when you are really higher up, you will be, an analyst who is making calls on which stocks to buy and which to sell. And when you start your career, you will be part of that process. You will be supporting a team that is doing that decision making process. So what I'm going to cover next 5 to 10 minutes is this type of job roles that will, you can get into. So this investment industry, these are sub areas which will help you to get an idea. When you are doing your exams, when you are in your current job roles, even maybe, some of these roles can suit you, so that, you can think this is something you can do. And if you are going to become one of these analysts, how CFA comes is, CFA is the qualification which will give you the theoretical understanding on, what need to be learned. So moving on, so I have listed here eight roles. Actually, roles, it can be much more. What I have taken here is a more of a localized version, where, you can, what are the companies and the roles that are within our market that CFA chart holders can get into, or CFA candidates can get into. Sachin touched upon some of these. There was one slide about, equity, fixed income, etc. These are also covered here, but in a slightly localized manner. So as you can see, we have buy-side analyst, we have sell-side analyst, investment banking analyst, then research analyst working for independent research firms, then analyst working in audit firms. I think this is very interesting because some of you are maybe already in audit firms who have done CIMA or chartered. Then rating analyst who are working for rating agencies. Then KPOs, knowledge process outsourcing. This has become, Sri Lanka has become a center especially on the IT sector. And of course, investment side also, Sri Lanka is there. I am from that industry, to be frank. Then even corporates like treasury, corporate finance, those roles is kind of investment decision making. And so therefore, there are job roles relating to those kind of areas as well. So let me take one by one quickly what these involve. Actually, before I take, as Sachin mentioned now, Sachin and Aruna mentioned, we have over 500 chart holders produced in Sri Lanka. If you look at where are they working right now, they are working one of these. They are working in one of these roles currently, which is, which can be, guideline for you, what you can get it. So if I go one by one, first one is buy-side analyst. So this is, so these are industry terms you might understand later. Buy-side means, people who are actually making investment decisions. That means they are buying stocks, they're buying, fixed income instrument or any other investment instrument that are available. They are the people who have money, or they are called asset managers also. So the analysts who are working here, their main role is identify investment opportunities that will improve returns of the portfolio they are working on. So, they make money by, buying low and selling high. So in developed market, foreign market, this can be any asset class, as I have mentioned here, equity, fixed income, etc. But if you look at Sri Lanka, Equity is kind of larger when come to institutional side, but there is sizable fixed income as well as other real estate related asset classes are also there. So what you would need to do, the task is, you need to research about set of companies and industries. You to build financial models. Then you have to talk to sell side people, which I will come later, and corporates to get information. And the companies you will work are especially unit trust. So actually, I will urge now, if you are a juniors who are getting into this industry, there's a site called Sri Lanka Unit Trust Association. Please just Google it and go. You can see a lot of details about unit trust. And personally, if you are getting into investments, if you are saving yourself, please learn about unit trust and start saving in unit trust. That is a big literacy gap we have in Sri Lanka, where we think investment is a fixed asset. Fixed deposit in a bank, which is not the case. Sorry, I'm slightly deviating. So unit trust, pension funds, then private asset management firms, insurance companies who have a lot of, premiums they collect from their policyholders. They need to invest in other company, invest somewhere to generate return. So these are the buy side people. They need to have a talent for stock picking, and they need to talent for spotting trends earlier. So they need to be on top of the capital market trends. That's the key on the buy side. Then moving on to the other side, sell side. This is like the stock brokerage arms of investment banks. That their job is to help those buy side people I talked about before, and to make the investment decisions correctly and in a timely manner. So they act as a bridge between asset management firms and companies. Then they make money via brokerage commission and fees. And some difference here is the analysts in sell side usually cover an industry and they continue to cover it for a very long period of time. So actually, I am from this, my background is in sell side, where I have worked in one of the KPOs for more than a decade. And I was specialized in sell side, and I used to cover a few industries for a very long time for a global client. So what you need to do there, you need to research deeply on set of companies and industries. If you cover certain industries for more than like 1 year, 2 years, you will have very deep knowledge about, the things that have happened, how the dynamics works, how the business models works, how the competition, how the regulation work. All these you will know in and out. So that information is given to the buy side people in the form of financial models, in the form of investment research reports, or in the form of discussions like marketing the investment ideas to make investment decisions. So companies under here are like stock brokerage firm. There are, I think, more than 20 stock brokerage firms in Sri Lanka, which can be employers for people who are doing CFA. Then investment banking analysts. So these are the people who are working for investment banks, who usually you see in movies, who are investment bankers, doing all these mergers and acquisitions, right? All these very high-end stuff who earns like millions in one deals. These are the people who talk about, and so they are, the skills they need are slightly different to the analysts I talked about before. They need to be really good marketers with strong, negotiation skills, communication skills, etc. So they act as intermediary between investors and corporate for large-scale capital raisings. Then moving on, this is another interesting angle on audit firms. So audit firms also get involved in capital markets and investment decision making as advisors usually. So they give professionals. Audit firm is a professional service firm. They give services about the M&A transactions, especially, and other related capital raising related activities. So all the three big firms in Sri Lanka, there are units for deal advisory, and there are enough chart holders working there already. So they need to perform valuation analysis. Then they need to prepare proposals and presentation to clients about the capital raisings they are work on. They need to do, due diligence, etc. So audit firms and in a global context, even consultancy firms do this kind of work. So that is the deal advisory angle. Then coming on to the another angle, this is rating agencies. So I think all of you are now awaiting for a, it's in the news that, our president going to announce something that, we are out of bankruptcy. And there is other, parties telling like, only rating agencies can announce whether we are out of bankruptcy or not. So this is what I'm talking about, rating agencies. Their job is to, provide public and private ratings of companies and their debt instruments. So of course they cover public debt, Sri Lanka sovereign debt. They have been in the spotlight in the recent past because of the crisis we went through. So their job is to forecast, the credit quality, give an independent view of that. So they downgraded, as you might remember, in 2021, early 2021 and 22, forecasting that, we are going to default. They downgrade to default level. So that was the idea. So they need to do analysis, they need to do forecasting, etc. So CFA related curriculum is related to this kind of workflow as well. And another interesting angle, this is KPOs. I am from there, as I said before. So we have Acri Knowledge Partners, which have worked before. There's Oceans, and a firm called Oceans, which is kind of doing similar work. So here what we become is we work for foreign entities in the capital markets. So the difference is you sometimes do only certain tasks only. You won't get to do maybe the entire thing. But the benefit is you will get exposed to the international level work stream. So it becomes much easier to, move across geographies if you have worked for this kind of firms. So that is KPOs. Then there are independent research analysts. I want to put it here because the company currently I'm working kind of can be put into this category. We have around 100 plus employees, and I have more than 10 chart holders in this working in that company as well. So we write reports on industries and economic topics. And we give it to either, corporate clients or, investment clients, etc. in certain ways, like can be like consultancy level work, or it can be like platform level work like Bloomberg. In fact, what I do is like something like Bloomberg, where we have a platform which is used by corporates and financial institutions globally. Then finally, in terms of number of roles, this is the research in corporates. So all the corporates involve some form of decision making for investments. So therefore, they have roles. They have roles in treasury, they have roles in corporate finance, they have roles in investor relations. All of these appeal to the people who are doing CFA. The people who are doing CFA are the people who will be able to do these things. And yeah, so I think I'm coming to the, so last part, what I want to tell is if you are taking a career here, so this is career paths. If you are in different organizations, you start as a junior analyst, then you move to a manager level, then you move to senior manager level, then you are head of a division, then head of a, head of a certain business line, etc. So if you see, this is my career path. I have been in KPO industry only. So I run the user-based operation as the country head as of now. So what the most interesting thing here is these career paths are highly interchangeable. So probably around 75% of the knowledge is common among all these roles, and other 25% moves across depending on the roles that you play. So that which makes it interchangeable. So this is one of the examples who start as a KPO analyst, then move to asset manager and become a portfolio manager within Sri Lanka. This is the actual example I'm talking. And this is another actual example who start as a KPO and then move to brokerage and then move to audit firm on the deal advisory, and then is in the partner level as of now. And yes, So that's pretty much it. I think I took about 15 minutes. That's the main area I wanted to cover. Yeah, I don't know, over to you for the next session.
Okay. Thank you, Thilan. I think thank you very much for very articulating the different roles in the investment industry. I think everyone got a good idea about it. So according to our agenda, our next item is for Shehan Fernando, CEO of Alpha Business School, to present what study facilities he is offering it. So with that, Shehan, can I request you to make your presentation?
Yes. Thank you, Aruna. Thank you so much. I've shared my screen. I hope the others can see.
Yeah, we can see it, yes.
Right. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Shehan. I'm representing Alpha Business School. We're the first and only provider for the CFA program in Sri Lanka to receive the candidate resource partner status, and we are proud and happy about it. So this is after the completion of almost 10 successful sessions where we have conducted classes and produced quite a few CFA level 1 pass or level 1 students passing out and probably moving on to level 2 candidacy. Most of the areas that needs to be touched on have been discussed by Sachin and Thilan. So my role today is to basically speak a little bit about the tuition that we provide. But I initially want to start on just one thing a little bit to tell you that the CFA level program has 3 levels, as you clearly know. Okay. I just want to stress on certain things additionally, which has already been discussed. So we have 10 subject areas. Okay. This is clearly shown by Sachin through the circles. So as you can see, there are certain areas as you go along towards the higher levels, which gain more importance. It's very visible when it comes to portfolio management. Okay. So a smaller percentage increasing and increasing further. Okay. And at the same time, there are certain areas which will taper away gradually as you go along. Okay. So as you can see, things like financial reporting and analysis. So that keeps on reducing. But understand that ethics plays a very important role throughout all 3 levels of the program. Okay. As the core, okay, of all 3 levels. So therefore, something that you need to focus on when you start off the program. Okay, a little extra focus compared to the other areas should be ethics. So I want to touch on the paper structure as well. Okay, so for level 1, each exam has 2 papers, as you are aware. Okay, so there's a morning session and an evening session. And level 1, each paper is 2.25 hours, 90 MCQs per paper. So if you do the mathematics, you're looking at 1.5 minutes per MCQ. Okay. So it is also a time constraint exam. Okay. You need to understand that. So you can't take your own pool time at the exam. The 1.5 minutes obviously will double when you go to level 2. And you have to do 45 MCQs in 2.25 hours, which is 3 minutes per MCQ. But do understand there are item sets. There's comparatively more reading that you have to do to answer those questions. Okay. And the final level, 1 paper is MCQ based, the other is essay type. So this is how you will be tested. So my main task is basically to speak to you about the program that we offer at Alpha Business School. Okay. So the image that you see are the expert lecturers, okay, who are CFAs. Almost everyone's a CFA except for those at the bottom. Okay, so they are level 3 passed. So they are awaiting to be charter holders. Okay. With their experience documents being submitted. So everyone else is a CFA, and most of these individuals have been lecturing for some time as well. Okay, so for example, Usama Jifri, he has been lecturing for close to 20 years, so probably beyond 20 years as well. Okay, So it's a very experienced panel of lecturers who will take care of you guys when you join the classes, okay, and disseminate the knowledge where you will be able to clearly and easily understand the contents of the program, okay. We look at roughly a 200 to 250 hour course. So there's another side where certain groups of students may ask, do we have to actually go through so much of time? As you have been informed, okay, Sachin was clearly mentioning this, okay. This is not a course that you should take too easily, okay. So you need to put in a little bit of effort, probably sometimes a little more than other programs, okay, because that is required, okay. So that's why we take such a long time to cover our program from beginning to end. So it's a full syllabus coverage, okay, along with 50 hours of revision, okay. And in addition to that, we also offer the class recordings as well, okay. So we are offering the recordings of the classes, just in case someone's going to miss a particular session, absent or having an event or something like that. And we also provide a calculator training session as well, because it's a separate calculator that you have to use, the Texas Instruments BA2 Plus or the BA2 Plus Professional. So then someone probably has to teach you how to get this done, okay. So, and we take that responsibility of handling that as well. So this is our course offering, okay. So we have started classes on the 26th of May, about 3 weeks ago actually, targeting exams in November 24 and February 25, okay. So anyone who is interested in sitting for exams in November and February, if you wish to, you can join in the current program. As I said, although you have missed classes, we will be sharing the recordings and you should be able to cover up through that, okay. Right. This was also mentioned, okay. But I just thought I'll put this diagram so that you can clearly understand how to progress. So if you end up sitting for level 1 in November, okay, you can do level 2 in May 25 and finish off the program in February 26. Even if you push your exam for level 1 to February, then you can sit for the August exam for level 2 and then go into the final level in February, okay, right. So this is like a pathway for you to understand when can you start, when can you finish, okay, right. We also conduct a revision along with key topic areas being discussed for level 2, okay. So it's not a full syllabus coverage, but a syllabus summary of each subject along with question practice. This is a 60-hour program, okay, covering the main areas and question practice of the CFA level 2 syllabus, okay. So we've conducted this successfully, okay, this time around as well. So we plan to continue with this program. So as we go along, we've got requests. Why not you start a full program for level 2? Why not you look at a full program for level 3? So as we go along with more and more students coming in for the program, yes, we have plans to do so, okay. So that's a little bit about what you need to know, okay. So we are available on all forms of socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or you can check us out on Google. And if you have any concerns, you can always speak to us. If you want more details, you can speak to us. You can request to speak to me. I'm Shehan, okay? And I can personally speak to you as well to clarify any doubts, concerns that you guys have. Okay. So that's about it in terms of what I wanted to tell you all, okay? Thank you for listening. And I will pass the microphone back to Aruna, and probably we will go on to the Q&A.
Thanks, Shehan. I think thank you very much for giving the brief introduction about what you have been offering at Alpha Business School. We have about 10 minutes for Q&A, and I would like to ask the first question directed to Sachin. Sachin, if you're looking at the audience, since there are more undergraduates and also those who are working in the private sector, could you please once again explain about the entry requirement to sit for the CFA exams, especially for undergraduates as well as anyone who have obtained another professional qualification or already completed a degree? What entry requirements you need?
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, I touched upon that early in one of my slides. So, the entry criteria is if you're a graduate, if you already completed graduate or graduate equivalent as deemed in your market, then you can directly come into the program. But if you're somebody who's currently a student at one of the universities and want to start off, you have to be within 2 years of your undergraduation completion. That's 23 months or 2 years as we are describing it. So if you are, we are sitting in June 2024 right now. So if you are going to graduate, say in May of 26, you can register, come in for the CFA program level 1 right away. So within 23 months of your undergraduation, you can start off. If you already completed a graduation, then you can directly register and proceed. I hope that answers the query, Aruna.
Yes, Sachin, yeah, if you're what about the entry requirements where you have 4,000 hours of working experience and with a professional qualification, still you could join the program, register?
Yeah, so I will not say professional qualification directly. I will say, see, if you have completed a graduation or market recognizes a particular program as equivalent to a graduation, then you are eligible to register. With regards to the number of working hours, 4,000 hours that you mentioned in, so we do have a third criteria. That is, if you have not finished your graduation, you have 4,000 hours of industry experience, or you have a combination of 4,000 hours of experience plus a certain level of undergraduation you have completed, then you can register as well. That is seldom used. I think most candidates will come in when they are studying in the universities or have completed the program. So I'll leave it at those first two. But if you're somebody who's not finished graduation and have started working, you can probably look at a third criteria in that case. Aruna, back to you.
Okay, sure. Sachin, maybe there's another question. Two questions I'll quickly take up with you. The first one is every year the syllabus would change? And the second question is, I'm currently following an undergraduate degree program at University of California. That degree program is affiliated with CFA Institute. Can you please explain what is the affiliation means and what are the benefits along?
All right, sure. I think these are two interesting questions. So
Yeah.
the first one, every year syllabus will change. The answer is yes. So the curriculum evolves with time, right? Every year we go back to the industry to understand what are the latest development that is happening and is not covered as part of the CFA program. And then we have a set process by which we take in those feedbacks, review our curriculum, decide what can be added, what has to be removed. So every year I will say about 10-15% of the curriculum changes. We did have a reasonably large change recently as part of CFA program evolution, where there were a number of changes announced. So expect changes every year. So February 25 onwards, there will be an updated curriculum, likewise February 26 onwards. And we do publish the changes. If you reach out to Shayan for his tutoring, for his lecture, he will be also able to guide you exactly on what the changes is and how it will, how you have to prepare for it. On the second question, the University of California is affiliated with the CFA Institute. So CFA Institute runs a program called University Affiliation Program globally. So as part of this program, we work with universities around the world to understand if any of their programs, any of their degree program, how well it aligns to what we cover in CFA program. So if there is a good amount of alignment, say for an undergrad program, if their finance program in undergrad covers at least 70% of our level 1 candidate body of knowledge, we will go ahead and award the UAP affiliation to that particular program and the college. For postgrad programs, it's across the 3 levels, how well it is covered and mapped to CFA curriculum. So that is in short where we cover up the affiliation. Now, the benefit of it is in college, if you're saying studying for a particular program in University of Kelania. Now, I'm not exactly sure which program. That's possibly you'll have to go back and check, or the society can clarify as well. So if you are studying the affiliated program, you're already learning about 70% of the curriculum in your college itself. So there is an overlap. I'm not saying that will be sufficient. The topic is covered in your college. How much depth it goes to, that is something we'll have to understand separately. But there is already an orientation or an understanding you will get as part of being affiliate, as part of somebody who's studying an affiliated program. So I hope that clarifies, Aruna, on that.
Yes, indeed.
If I may
Sachin,
add,
Tilan has a point to add in. Yeah, Tilan.
yeah,
yes,
if I may
Tilan, go
add,
ahead.
so one of the benefits is when you get affiliated, from the scholarship side, the university get at least 2, I think, scholarship per year to give to their students. The selection for that is totally with the academic staff, and they will. What happens usually is they will award it based on their own criteria, and they will usually offer it to the one of the top students in their degree in that year, etc.
Yes, thanks, Tilan, for bringing it up. I think that's an important criteria, important benefit I missed out. So scholarships are also available for for participants of the affiliated program.
Okay. Sachin, part of the scholarships, the scholarship window would open somewhere in this year, October. Anyone is interested in?
September, October, that is for the excess scholarship. For the
Yes.
student scholarship, which we refer to right now for the affiliated program,
Yeah.
the student have to reach out to their faculty to understand if they have scholarship available, which can be awarded.
Right. So if you are applying for access scholarship, you must look out for visit our CFA Institute website somewhere in September, October, and the window.
September, I would say, yeah.
You would say September, right? So if you do access scholarships, you got to pay only about $300 and almost $950 would be waived off. Yeah,
Correct.
so which is a massive advantage, cost advantage, and the discount. Next question, I would like to pass it on to Tilan. The question is, may I know the advantages and disadvantages of shifting from investment banking to corporate strategic planning, and how CFA qualification would help in this change?
Yes. Yeah, that's a very valid question, and that is kind of the area I touched. So these career decisions are actually, it's 50-50 usually. So as Sachin said at the start of the session, it usually depends on your preferences. What really excites you is something you should start looking at. In terms of benefit, if you say the advantages, so you're corporate planning, that means you are usually with one corporate or one industry corporate, one industry cluster you will work. So your experience will be more geared toward one particular corporate or that industry. And you will work with that particular team, like a smaller team usually, but but you will have access to the senior management, etc. So one advantage of moving to IB would be it will be much more dynamic. IB is, as I said, if you add real IB, that where you help with M&A transaction, etc. It's very high volume, high stress, high return kind of industry, really high stress, high return industry. If you're up for it, if you really, if you thrive in that kind of scenarios, that will be a big advantage to move there. Disadvantage would be, of course, the number of hours you will work higher, and it will be more demanding at the end. And more demanding, the revenue, salary you earn will be proportionate as well, how demanding that is. But as Sachin said at the start also, not, you can't really define, oh, this career is better than the other one. It's actually depends on what excites you, as I said. It's what you prefer. If you prefer a dynamic thing is good, you should think for it. I hope that answers, but maybe, it's a more larger discussion, I would say, if you want to make a shift as well. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Tilang. Yes. So I'll take another two questions to Shehan. Shehan, there is a perception that the CFA exams are very tough. And also you get 10 subjects in each level.
Correct.
Could you, as a student facilitator, you always work with the students. How do
Yes.
you see this perception and what is your response? And also, you get the 10 subjects and
Yes.
right throughout the syllabus, level 1, 2, 3, those are the same subjects from fundamental to the advanced. How do you see a plus point or a minus in that? How do you respond to that?
Okay. So yes, it's the same subjects. I'll take the second question first. So it's the same subjects which go through all three levels. See, but although it's the same subject, you're obviously getting additional learning as you go along in the higher levels. So I will see that as a definite plus, because when it comes to learning, okay, there's always more aspects to learn. So initially, when you take the first level, you're covering certain aspects only when it comes to the 10 subjects. But like what I told you, as you go along to level 2 and level 3, the need and the extent of portfolio management is drastically increased, because as a CFA, you are ideally trying to create that role also of a portfolio manager then. Okay. So the teaching will cover all those areas. Okay. That's number 2. The first question, may you repeat, Arna, a little bit?
The first question is, there's a perception that the CFA exams are
It's tough.
very
Yeah.
tough.
Yes. Okay. So there obviously is a perception, and you will see, even if you type it on Google, toughest exam in the world, CFA is in the top 10 list there, Okay. So okay, in that sense, if majority are saying that it's tough, okay, I'm not saying it's easy, okay, but is it something that you can't do? No, definitely not. Okay, that is why we have 500 plus start holders from Sri Lanka already, and probably quite a few of the others already following the program with the aspiration of getting to that point soon. Okay. The objective of us coming into the picture also as a tuition provider is to make things easier for the student. Okay. It's a fact that it's offered as a self-study program, but globally there are tuition providers for CFA. Okay. So we come in to basically disseminate the content of the program in a more understandable and easier manner for the students, so that they can grasp it more easily. Okay. It's the problem, in my point of view, is the volume of the program rather than the understandability. Okay, if I take level 1 especially, okay, I think all the panelists will agree, okay, if you're after a bachelor's degree or a professional program like ACCA or CIMA, okay, and come to CFA, trust me, the content you will understand, okay. It's not that you're going to find this difficult to understand or whatever, okay. But the problem is the fact that although that understanding is there, are you having enough time to go through all of the content and keep that in your mind for the exam? That is the concern. Okay. So that is where I have seen throughout my being involved in teaching CFA for a good 10 plus years. Okay. So throughout my career, I have seen sometimes, okay, certain star prize winner students, okay, probably taking things too easy, okay, not being successful at the program in the earlier levels, whereas that average student sometimes who has worked hard, gone through everything, done everything what is needed to be done, okay, and that individual ends up passing. I can relate to a personal experience of mine, okay, where a family friend of mine ended up after I also convinced the individual to do the CFA program, okay. And he ended up doing this program and he started off classes. Okay. And on a particular day, he called me and said, Shehan, I want to meet you. Okay. There are some students, the phone call won't work. They want to meet you, Okay. So I ended up meeting him. He actually came over to my place. And so one of the things which I asked him was, okay, tell me what you have done so far. Okay. So he went on telling these are the things that I've done. Okay. And he logged into his CFA profile and he said, I've done these questions. See, now when it comes to the CFA program, another thing we must understand is there's a lot of resources provided by the institute itself, including question banks, quite a lot of questions. So this friend of mine, or I would say student, okay, so showed me all those questions that he had attempted, okay. So that will give you like an analysis saying you have attempted so many questions and you've got so much of percentage right, okay. So, and he had done most of the work and his percentages were relatively on the higher side. I didn't tell him at that moment, but as soon as I looked at that, I knew at that moment, this guy is going to pass the exam, and he did. Okay. So you can't expect to pass this exam without putting that effort or probably skimming through more towards the end, like probably what you did for another examination. But if you put in that effort from the early stages itself, okay, I don't think this is an impossible task. Okay. It can be a lot of effort, but what I always tell them is, yes, it's a lot of effort which comes with and quite a bit of rewards, okay, which is unmatched to the level of effort that you have put in. Okay. So if you work really hard, okay, I think this is definitely, I won't call it hard if you work hard.
Thank you, Shehan. So it's the giving your focus, attention, and the effort from the day one will help
Correct.
you in getting through the exams. Sachin, would you be able to quickly explain about the exemptions policy, if there are exception policy? Because there are questions from the university undergraduates. You are a part of the affiliated program, and you will get the exemptions. Or if you have a professional another qualification, whether you get exemptions, etc. I think good
Okay.
to give that clarification.
I'll keep it short. There are no
Yeah.
exemptions. Everyone has to start with level one, irrespective of which program, which affiliation you come from, or which other qualification. Everybody has to start from level one for CFA.
Okay, so maybe we can conclude, but before we conclude, I would invite, yes.
There are a few
Yeah.
other questions if we can quickly run through.
Okay, I think, yeah, okay. The one would be, I can see, is if you register for the CFA Research Challenge competition, will I be able to continue with CFA? Sachin?
I will quickly respond. Both are, not linked together in the sense that you can keep it independent. You can register for the research challenge. At the same time, if you are eligible, you can start with your CFA program. So you don't need to complete one to start with the other. Both are rigorous, but as to Shehan's point, you need to put in the effort. Then you'll enjoy the journey in that case.
Yeah. Just
Right.
adding to that, I think a lot of people who are in the capital market, who are finished in Sri Lanka, have started their journey with the research challenge. So it's a good start if you have done it already.
Exactly, yeah, that's right, yeah. Maybe the last question, University of Colombo Financial Engineering external degree affiliated with CFA, if it is like that, we can continue the CFA program after completing the degree, right? Yes. So, Sachin, you may want to explain again when you are in which level you can register and then can continue. Yes.
Yes, I think again, similar response as last time. You do not need to wait to complete your degree. If you can start in college itself, right? For your within 23 months of your finishing of your degree, you can join the CFA program right away. And I think there is enough opportunity. We've spoken to employers in Sri Lanka who are ready to explore candidates who have done that hard effort early on, right? So take that chance. Don't wait for degree to complete and then start a separate learning program. Do it along with your college, I'll say.
Well, So Sachin, yeah, I think, yeah. So if you want to register, if you are in the second year of your degree, you can still register for CFA program. And if you need further study facilities and support, you can always reach out to Alpha Business School Shahan, and because they do have regular classes. So with that, gentlemen, I would like to conclude this session, and on behalf of CFA Society Sri Lanka, I would like to thank three of you, despite your busy schedule, joining with us and educating everyone. And hopefully we will have another program once the scholarship windows are open to educate everyone more. So thank you very much for joining. And you can always reach out to the CFA Institute website or CFA Society Sri Lanka and get more details about the CFA program registrations. So as Sachin mentioned, the exam registration for November exams, the standard deadline would be 9th of July.
No, correct. That's for November. Its last deadline is August. 9th of July is the early registration deadline for February.
February, right? Yeah. So remember, you got to remember, if you want to register for November exams, deadline would be August. And if you want to register for February 2025 exam early bird discount, registration date would be the 9th of July. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you,
with
and all
that,
the
we will
best, everyone.
conclude. Yes. Thank you.